Hey guys, we're in the home office today and I'm going to show you a waiting list system that you can use right away that is going to save you time and make you money. And it's going to take away the agony like you have never seen before when it comes to managing a wait list. So here we go.
My name's Kirk Huddleston. My wife and I own Discovery Kids Learning Center. We opened it up in 2004, the largest childcare provider in Western Colorado. We have 4 beautiful children. They're from 12 to 21 years old. The bottom line is I want to share with you knowledge, experience, tools, tips, strategies to help you in your day-to-day operations of your facility. Come along. I hope you enjoy the journey. Both hands on the wheel, eyes on the road, so let's get to work. All right, so we're going to talk about waiting lists today. Hopefully your waiting list does look or will eventually look something like what you're looking at right now. This is our waiting list in what appears to be an Excel document, but it's actually in a program called Smartsheet, which is just like Excel, but it has a lot of other super awesome features and allows some manipulation and documenting and so forth, much more and greater than the capability of an Excel document. So we've got a toddler waiting list, and we're going to scroll down to our early preschool. So we're just going to say for simplicity that this is our toddlers are from 12 months to 3 years old. Our early preschool are our 3-year-olds. Our preschool kiddos are 4 and 5, and then our school agers are going to be 6 and up. Okay. We also have a summer of 2018 waiting list here, and then fall of 18. So this would be an example of a wait list that would be during the school year of the 2017-2018 school year. I want to walk you through all the different things about this waiting list, and hopefully you will take your spiral notebook. Heaven forbid you have one of these that you're actually putting parents and families in on the wait list on a spiral notebook, thinking that one day you'll flip through the pages and trying to fill a spot for a 1-year-old on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or a 4-year-old on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Folks, this waitlist system here will help save you time. It'll make you money because it's organized to the T. So this first column here, this is when Peyton Manning gave me a call personally on 10/5/17 to put both Joey and Becky on the wait list. I simply punched in their birthdays. They happen to be twins, and this told me that they are 2 years old as of today. The start date didn't have a start date on here. You always want to have a start date, so whoever, this is a make-believe semi wait list here, should make sure you always put a start date on there. So let's just say that their start date is today. So I'm just going to click in there and said he didn't want to start until January 28 of 2019. Their schedule Monday through Friday variable. So they're saying, I need something within that Monday through Friday, and you're going to have your own policies. For us, that would mean they would need to lock in and pay for 5 days a week, and they may come 3 or 5 days a week, but they're going to pay for all 5. Status currently is waiting. I haven't talked to them since. If I talked to them last month, I would go in here and say, okay, I talked to them in December, and let's just say I talked to them on December 10th. So then at a glance, I know the last time I talked to them. And let's say back then they were coming in for a tour, so I could just use a status of they're in the process of touring. I asked Peyton, I said, hey, Peyton, do you need to know our rates? And of course he said, sure, not that it matters. I'm quite wealthy, but go ahead. Just for grins, tell me your rates. So I did. By asking him that question, I know that he's self-pay. Otherwise, if he says, no, I've got this child care assistance thing, then I could come and identify that family as a CCAP family, just so I know the process of enrolling and how they're going to be paying for it. Make sure you get their phone number and please get their email address. This column over here, 24, this is the number of months their children are. And you're not going to put this in. I worked with Smartsheet, their programmers, and they built this awesome, crazy formula. Let me see if you can see this. And almost, hang with me here. Hang with me. Almost. I'm still working on it. Okay, this formula here is what they came up with. And this is where you've got to work smarter, not just harder. And you got to find people that know things that you don't know. And in this case, I could not make this formula up. So when I put in this child's birthday here, Joey's birthday of 1/15/17, this formula says that this child is 24 months old today. Okay? And this formula here just says take 24 months divided by 12, and that tells me that Joey's 2 years old. Watch this. This is the beauty of this formula working smart. Let's say that Joey was born in 16. Just by changing the birthday, watch what happens. Now Joey's 36 months and he's 3 months old, or 3 years old rather. Watch this. Let's say he was born in June. Whoops, I had an extra 0 in there. Now he's 2.5 months old. Here's the thing. Please, I hope you follow me on this, is that you're not going to have to update the child's age. It's going to do it for you automatically. Next month, Joey will be 32 months old, and this will change to 2.7. The following month, 33 months, and so forth. This is a wait list where the kids' ages are going to follow you month in and month out. Let me show you what's important about this. Let's say that you're looking at this Smartsheet, and this kiddo here, let's say this child's name is Ricky. And so Ricky is almost 3 years old, right? Because he's 33 months old. And now I might as well move him up into my early preschool wait list. I can grab Ricky and just scoot him up into the next classroom. Try that with Excel. Yeah, I know you can cut and paste, but I'm telling you, moving people around, let's say you wanted to organize this by the youngest kids, you could take, there's all kinds of custom stuff that you can learn about Smartsheet. So I'll do a few things I won't explain. Let's look at Russell Wilson. Go Seahawks. This little one, Bobby, is a year and 3 months. So I'm going to move him all the way to the top. Little Lombardi is a year old. So I'm going to move Lombardi up. And then here I've got Tanya Tucker. Her kiddo is 1.2. And this child is 1.3. I'm going to grab both of them at the same time and move them up. Now I've got 1.2, 1.3, 1.3, 1.4, and so on. And I can continue to organize these kiddos by age if I like to. Look how simple it is to organize. Because sometimes you're wanting to enroll kiddos based on their age, not always based on when they call, because you've got to make sure your kids aren't timing out in an infant room, in a toddler room, and so forth. Let's scroll down here to early preschool. Let me show you another way to move kiddos out of here. Remember, early preschool is now 3-year-olds, right? This waiting list has been sitting idle for, let's say, a year or 6 months, heaven forbid. All right, but now this little guy here, we'll call him Kobe. Kobe's 4 years old. Not a kiddo I'm going to roll in early preschool. So let's just grab Kobe over here on the side, and let's move him down here into our preschool room. Bingo. You cannot do that, ladies and gentlemen, with a spiral notebook. Here's another 4-year-old. Another 4-year-old here. Here's another one. So I'm going to hold control and just select that one. And I'm going to move all of those 3 families right down here into preschool. So let's take a look here. I've got Ricky, who's almost 3. Again, now this one's going to be is 47 months old. Do I want to enroll this child, who we'll call Bella, into an early preschool room with 3-year-olds? Maybe not. So let's move Bella down here into the preschool wait list. 2.9, 3 years. Getting is an older 3-year-old. We'll leave this child there for now. So again, these are siblings here. So I've got this little one here, which is Tia, and then Nelia, we've got these two. These are siblings. So we have a 3.5-year-old and a 4.5-year-old, let's say. I usually like to put the youngest child first because the youngest room, if I can fit that, then I'll look at the oldest room. You can do either. But watch this. Let's say that Nelia was actually born in 2014. Now how old is Nelia? 4 years and almost a half. I want to move Nelia. Watch what happens. I want to move Tia. Watch what happens to Nelia. I'm going to change Nelia's birthday just for fun. Now Nelia is 6.5 years old, so Nelia's a school ager. I'm going to grab Tia, who does not belong in early preschool, and I'm going to move her down here into preschool. So there she is, and sibling followed. So there's this cool thing up here called outdent and indent. So I'm able to lock a sibling, which is locking this line, will follow Tia. It'll follow, this is Bobby. Bobby is dad. So dad will now always be linked to both Tia and Nelia. It's a great way to organize. So let's look also about, let's look at early preschool again. All of my kiddos are the right age. Now, let's say that Ricky's dad, Ronald, gives me a call. Let's see here. Let's get Ronald figured out here, nice and cleaned up. Let's say Ronald gives me a call. Ronald's been on the wait list since July of 17, wanting 3 days a week. And the status was, we'll call back. WCB will call back. That means that I'm not going to do anything. I'm waiting for Ronald to call back for Ricky and Rascal. Okay. So he finally calls back. I'm going to click on this little box over here. This is a comment box, and that's going to open up comments that we've had. Now, these are actual comments. Well, they might be actual comments of kiddos we've had in our care. Let's go back here. So on July 20th to 17th, came in and toured, is going to talk to the boss and getting a set 3 days a week. Will call back with what they figure out ASAP. We got another message in here a couple minutes later. And when you make a comment, it'll tell you or a teacher or director, whoever made that comment. So let's say here that he called me back today. So I'm going to say we had a good conversation. Very pleasant. I like to put that in there because I like to enroll very pleasant families, right? Exclamation point. Coming back for another tour with wife. Wife returning from Nebraska. Why would I put that in there? Because I'm going to capture that comment. And again, you can see that it says that I had that conversation and I put that stuff in there. So when they come back for their tour, maybe I say, hey, how was Nebraska? And I've got my notes all organized right in here. And they're not in a spiral while I'm making all kinds of changes in a spiral and scribbling. And you can't read my penmanship, which sometimes this is true. But all of those comments are tucked right nice and neatly right over here, so I can scroll down as I have a continued conversation with this family. So now, last contact was today. I'm going to change that as today's date. And I didn't have a status, whether they're self or CCAP. So I had that conversation, asked them, hey, do you need to know our rates? And they said, no, we've already got that CCAP thing all for our kids. So I just would mark that note on there. And hey, by the way, Ronald, I don't have an email address from you. Sometimes we use it just to update our waiting list. Can I get that from you? So he said, yep, I'm ron@gmail.com. And so now I've got his email address. And I'll show you one last thing here in a minute on what we do with those email addresses. So this is a great way, folks, for organizing your wait list. I'm telling you what, there's so many more things we can do on here. Let me hit a couple more. This green is a priority thing, status. So we've got a color coding. So green is priority. So for whatever reason, these two families here have hit our priority list. So we're going to try to get them in first. Blue is kind of standard for us. Let's say that Kobe's mom calls in very demanding. And she says, I want a spot and I want it now. And Also, I have all of these unrealistic expectations that I want to share with you because none of the other childcare providers I've ever been to have ever made me happy. So I want to make sure you meet all of my needs and I'm going to be happy at your facility. That sounds like a recipe for disaster. And I can already tell you this is not going to be a good partnership. And because we're all about partnerships, I'm going to put this family down as red so that I know this is a very, very low priority family or household. And my reasoning is because, well, where would I put the reasoning in here? I'm going to put in here not interested in a partnership. Forgive my spelling here. Just wants red carpet treatment and to be served daily. How's that? I mean, this is what she's communicating to me. So I want to make those notes. So if I enroll Kobe, I know what I'm getting myself into and I can prepare myself for that. All right. Guys, there's so much more you can do with this wait list. It's amazing. Let me show you one last trick when it comes to these email addresses. Well, I don't do email. If you don't do email, you're in the dark ages. You need to get on it because watch this. Let's say that today I want to update all of my family status on our waiting list. I want to know if they're still interested, if they're already found other care, if their needs have changed. So what I'm going to be able to do, I'm going to come to the top and I'm going to copy all of these email addresses all the way down. I'm going to send one giant, massive email. Yep. And you might be saying, oh, well, that's not personal. Okay, fine. Spend 3 hours of your time calling all of these. And you do that once every 2 months and then tell me how much you really enjoy making those phone calls. So I'm going to send this from, in this case, Fruitakids to Fruitakids. I'm going to send this email to myself. I'm going to blind carbon copy everybody else. Okay, so these are all their separate emails in there. And I'm going to put a subject on here, waiting list update. And folks, put a lot of attention to, and this is where you're sincere, and I'm not going to be in this brief explanation. Waiting list update, and then let me know your status. And I'm going to type an email in here that's very personal, very pleasant, and it's going to have things in there like, hey, we're just reaching out to all of our families that are on our wait list, wanting to know if you found care, if you're still waiting for care with us. Please let us know if your needs have changed. This is a great opportunity for you just to update us with your current needs and so on and so forth. I'm going to push send, and that's going to go out to 38 different families. That took me 5 minutes, and I reached out to 38 families, and you're going to get responses like, hey, I forgot to call you, let you know we already found care, or they might just say no longer interested, or hey, thanks so much for reaching out. Yes, we still are on your wait list. We'd love to remain on there with you. All of these number of scenarios and you're going to get back. And then you can come in here and you can update. You can copy their email, right? So you copy their email and then you paste their email response right here. Are you following me? Do you see how much time this can save you? Because when you have empty seats in your preschool, that is costing you a lot of money. That's money that could go to wages of your staff. That's money that can go to supplies. That's money that can go to bills and rent or your mortgage, or heaven forbid, you give yourself a raise because now you've got a way more. You've got a much greater, efficient waitlist procedure that you can follow. Hey, let's do this real quick. Let me reorganize my toddler waitlist. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm moving all my blues to the very top. Those are my priority families for whatever reason. And then I've got my yellow just below that, which might stand for slow down, maybe gather a little bit more information. And then I've got my red, which is just a caution. Be caution with this family, and I'd probably have notes over here on why they might be red on our wait list. And I'm telling you, this is a fantastic way to tackle a wait list. Get on board. It's called Smartsheet. As of January of 19, I believe it's $168 a year to subscribe to this. And you can have 50 different sheets. We'll get into that in a different training that you can utilize. One is a wait list, and there's so many others that you can learn from me at a different time. Thanks everyone for your attention. Hopefully you got some wow moments in here, and if you have something dialed in even better, share that with me. I'd love to incorporate that. Always looking to grow, learn, be teachable, be coachable. Have a marvelous day.